This week's Brew with the coach's question comes from Kevin Bloy. Do you have any advice for shin splints? I'm trying to rehab, but keep doing 3 to 4 miles easy every second day. Is this advisable? I've been running for 14 years. I'm 56, completed quite a few marathons and ultras. Just a little bit of extra info. Kevin was only back to regular running after 18 months of Achilles issues and think I may have overdone it with a few longer lakes days distance, vert-wise, which has brought them on. Yeah, straight to the doctor.
Doctor. Okay. Hi, Kevin. Essentially, shin splints is a term that we don't use in the sort of medical field anymore because it's not very helpful in terms of describing what's going on. So the term that sort of got superseded it, long medial tibial stress syndrome. And that's more to emphasize that what we think is going on is a bone stress response in the tibia. So your shin bone at the front, sort of front inside of your leg, you'll get that sort of classic pain. And we think it's more to do with sort of bone stress. And bone stress injuries are a continuum from a little bit of unhappiness, bit of soreness, right through to stress fracture and major problems with it. So my first bit of advice is really get a diagnosis and see a physio, make sure there's nothing else more significant going on, and make sure that that is what you're dealing with, MTSS, okay, or shin splints lay term. So yeah, classic overuse injury. And I note from what you've said in your question, you've come back to running recently from another injury and also maybe have done quite a lot of mileage increase. So we know usually these bone stress responses are in response to increasing load too quickly. And either that's mileage, intensity, terrain, all those sorts of things add to the load on the bone and the tissues around it. So that's probably why it's happened in your case. But there's other things that we need to think about as well. Sometimes things like vitamin D, other things going on in our bodies nutritionally makes us more prone to these things. So when we assess somebody who's got shin splints or MTSS, we would want to have a look at all of those things to make sure there's nothing else that we could do to improve the situation. I would not be doing a lot of impact activity running unless you have a diagnosis and you know where you are on that sort of bone stress continuum. And I think you could, if it's only 3 to 4 miles every other day, I think you could probably replace that with alternative cardio, as difficult as that is, but some bike work, that sort of thing, or lower intensity stuff, swimming, that sort of thing. So keep going fitness wise, but maybe step back on the impact until you've been able to see somebody who is able to make a diagnosis and help you with that rehab. And then all is not lost, even if that's the diagnosis. Obviously, it's easily rehabable. It's a really common injury and we get people back to running. But I think it's probably just being a bit more mindful in the build-up when you do start that running again and making sure that's on the back of a lot of strength work and work to increase the capacity of those tissues. So it's probably just a bit too much, a bit too soon, but all is not lost. It's rehabable, but find out where you are, find out how bad it is. Hopefully, if it's mild, it's easily sort of remediable with a bit more thought into that training increase.
Russell, as a coach, you must see this guy is screaming out for a little coaching plan that, do you think, just needs to be a little bit more thoughtful about his build-up maybe?
Oh, like Rebecca said, all's not lost and there's plenty of stuff you can do. I think she's right though. If it could be a bone issue, you want to get it looked at by a professional. Normally with muscles, you can get away with a bit of self-diagnosis, probably not much, but a little bit more. But with bones, you want to get that checked out straight away, because if it is a stress reaction, or you can make it worse and not really know what's happening, and you just get trapped in a cycle. This is our major hobby. This is the thing that we love doing. So you can splash out 70 quid now and save yourself months of misery. It's money well spent. That would be my advice. But then, yeah, like Eddie says, it's about putting a really sensible schedule in place, what you can do, and focus on what you can do. This is one of Eddie's favorite phrases I'm stealing there. But some things that I find that really help, like the squat motion. I don't know if Rebecca would agree, but usually, because there's no impact, there's no vibration, you can really start to make your running specific muscles stronger in this period when you're not actually able to run. So I like kettlebells because they force you to stabilize. Kettlebell, single leg, Romanian deadlifts, just goblet squats, just getting that strength in the area all around, especially the hip joint, so that when you come back, you feel like, I'm going to come back stronger and I'm going to nail this and get onto that positive mental attitude, because then it is going to help you through this process. It's going to come up again. This is going to be your only setback. So dealing with this one with a positive mindset is going to set you up better for next time.
You'd assume with the Achilles issue previously, probably calf capacity is pretty good, but maybe just neglected looking at the front of the leg as well. So the muscles there that pick our feet upwards and point our toes towards us, looking at muscles there and whether or not there's imbalances. So the calf's pretty strong, but actually the ankle dorsiflexion position is the thing that's been neglected. So some exercises for that might really help as well, assuming they've kept on top of all their calf work.
Do you recommend people to go to an osteopath or a chiropractor, Rebecca, if they are having ongoing lower limb issues, in case the joints are not working perhaps the way that they should, or looking at the whole body as well, the hips, the pelvis?
What I would usually say is a good sports physiotherapist, because they will look at everything to do with the running movement. So you always look at joint above, you look at back, you look at ankle if you're looking at a lower leg issue. So you would look at the whole chain. So good sports physio and someone who is used to rehabbing athletes or recreational runners or whatever, but someone who deals with sports people because they're used to talking in terms of training load and that sort of thing. And
all Kevin's going to be asking is, when can I run? When can I run?
Yeah, exactly. So and they will. That's that's the reason we do this job, is to keep people in sport and doing the things they want to do. So I would say sports physio is the way to go to get the diagnosis. There's roles for those other types of things that you've mentioned,
perhaps further down once you've seen someone. Yeah, they might say.
But I think because I think also it leads into that sort of self-management from an early stage as well. Hopefully you won't have to see the physio too many times, but get a diagnosis, get a plan, have a review, and hopefully it's things that you can do to self-manage thereafter. As we all know, as we get older, when we run, there's lots of things that we just need to keep on top of. So I think getting it right first time, as Russ says, is really important. Is you getting that diagnosis and get started in the right way, so it doesn't become a chronic issue.
I completely get that. It's really difficult trying to. Previously, I found it very difficult to stop, and I think that's the biggest thing when you get an injury, is just to take the rest. Now I'd say to myself, take the rest. So if you are having issues, stop, figure it out, get on the bike. And with Shin Splints, you can get on the bike, and that makes a massive difference. There's some really, really fantastic athletes out there. Anna Troop, for one, she does a huge amount of bike work, and she's awesome, absolutely awesome, and she's not out there smashing miles and miles and miles every day. She does a huge amount of bike work, so you can still be fantastic and not do as much running. So definitely sort it out, go see someone, but in the meantime you can get on the bike and keep your CV up, and it should make that much of a difference.
I love Trish's. Yeah, just find something else, suck it up, get on with it, let's go. Yeah. Come on, Kevin, we've got races to get to.
I love that. Thanks, everybody. I absolutely love Brew the coaches, and now we've got Rebecca on board.
Rebecca's bringing such a professionalism to this. What was a rowdy bunch of
it was chaos before, Rebecca.
Chaos. And the language, Russell's like, it's like we're with the teacher. Russell's on his best behaviour.
Go through that again, Eddie.
Well, let us know how you get on, Kevin. Thanks for your question.